And we're live.
We're not live.
Yet. Welcome to This Wasn't Planned.
This was not planned. I don't feel like you're talking into your mic.
I am. Now it's like really close to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Well, yeah, now it's. Okay, well, don't give yourself a little goatee now.
So,
Feed is dropping.
we did it. We did it.
All
We
right.
did it.
We just filmed a tutorial of the setting up this for YouTube. Wow. Okay, Sadie. Rude. Okay. That's cool.
Stretch it out. Oh, she didn't.
I don't know where you're going. You have to circle your ass back over here. Yeah.
I was just like, nowhere to go. All the equipment's up. My bed is gone.
We know why that is.
Yeah. Little pee-pee butt.
Out here, not enjoying the changes in her life.
Yeah.
Talking about changes. Look at that. Look at that. What is that?
It's a baby.
That's a baby.
It's a baby, and it's growing.
Yeah.
We're currently at filming. It is 24 weeks.
Goddamn, time flies.
Yeah, 24 weeks. That means we got 16 more weeks to go.
Yeah.
Honestly, starting to feel a little nervous.
In regards to what?
The labor part, I will say, is number one.
You're built for this.
When you say that now. Ever since Chris watched a vlog with me about a labor delivery story on YouTube, and the doula, that's what doula was like, helping her breathe. It's just like, you are built for this. Like, and then Chris is like,
That's gonna be my go-to line.
yeah, that's all you're gonna say. Well, just like that video, you're probably not even gonna be there to be. Just kidding.
Wow. That's fucked up.
No, I am just. It's my first child.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, you hear the horror stories. You also hear stories of how it went perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You just never know, and I think that's just the scary part. It's just you never know.
Yeah.
And I know I'm supported. You're gonna be there with me. Gonna get a doula.
Nah, I'm not gonna be there. I'm just gonna stay home. Hospital is like right down the street. I'm just gonna be like, just bring the baby when you're ready.
Literally across the bridge is the hospital. Chris is like, yeah, like if I ever need to just go home and get something, I could go real quick and do it. You're not leaving me alone. If anything, we can send somebody else to go across the bridge real quick.
Yeah. It's a 2-minute walk.
2-minute walk. We haven't even tested it yet.
Someone's gonna have to watch Sadie. Someone's gonna have to take Sadie for walks. Right, Mama?
She'll be fine.
What the fuck?
We'll have people.
Come lay down.
Sadie, come lay down, Mama.
Come over here. Come
lay down.
Come be a participant.
Come lay down.
Come over here. Up.
Sadie, come lay down.
Up.
Come lay down.
Up.
Rubear. Up.
Come.
Up.
Sadie, come up. Don't give me that potty face.
No,
come
lay
up.
Down.
Come
lay down.
Up.
Here, I moved this thingy. Come lay down.
Come up.
Come lay
Sadie,
down.
Come. Good girl. Jesus Christ, like pulling fucking teeth.
Relax.
Oh my.
Relax.
Look at her. Don't know what to do with herself.
There's like plenty of room, girl.
For real. Oh, I didn't even set a timer.
Oh.
How long you want to do?
Really just put an hour on the dot right now.
An hour right now, or like
Yeah.
55 minutes? This is
What's the point of you asking?
set a timer for 55. Oh, fuck. Set a timer for 55 minutes.
55 minutes. Counting down.
So this HDMI cord is fucked up.
You can flash it on and off.
Yeah.
But yeah. So 16 more weeks. How are you feeling?
Look at you, right?
Oh my
Cool.
gosh, you're fine.
Okay.
You just relax.
Um, I'm feeling. I don't know. It goes in waves. I still feel like I just want to be able to support this baby and get whatever it needs. I know that you know, life is unpredictable, and I know that we're actively building a business right now, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared. I'm scared that something unexpected happens, child needs to go to the doctors, and we don't have that that space in the bank account right now. Um, so that's one of my bigger fears right now. Um, I am excited to be a dad. I'm excited to, be a kid again. I'm excited to watch this thing grow. I'm excited to, nurture it and, you know, got to be careful. We're keeping the sex a secret, so we can't be letting anything slip up. So I'm saying it. It's not because I don't love them.
That's not a thing.
um, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like it's fucking terrifying to be starting a business and just in our what second, third year of business, full timing, and you know, we got fucking clients fucking calling out on us. We got clients that, treat us like shit and things like that certain times. It's scary. I'm not gonna lie. That part of it is scary. But I am excited. I know we're supported. I know we have family. I know my mom is super pumped because I'm her only child and this is gonna be, her first grandchild, legit grandchild. Um, I'm excited about all of that. I know we'll be supported. I know we won't go homeless, but I just, you know, the fear is there because the world is also changing too. And at the rate that it's changing, fucking no one is safe. Um, Maybe that's the point. Um, and again, I feel like that's another thing that comes with like having a child and just it teaches you to just embrace the suck, embrace just going through it and living through it, and I can't wait to be held accountable for my emotions and grow out of this reactive state. You know what I mean? Um, am I going to be perfect? No. Um, but I'm excited to have a little being hold me accountable. So, what about you? Besides the labor.
Yeah. um, I mean, I hear you on everything that you said. You know, being the fact that, yes, our income comes from our own business.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a guaranteed paycheck coming to us every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Um, and also there's a lot of unknowns with, I mean, so far, baby is healthy.
Besides that one little fucking scare that we had.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that was just like a natural me releasing from all the changes going in my body. Had a little bit of a bleeding scare, but We're good. Baby is healthy. Baby is moving a lot. Wakes me up in the morning. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of unknowns. You know, um, but I mean, with everything, no matter whether we're having a child or not, those are always there.
Yep.
And you talked about how, like, if there is, a health
Oh,
scare
yeah.
or anything that goes wrong, like, we're not ready for it. But honestly, people who have a 9 to 5, people who have salaries, when those things happen, they're not ready for that either.
Mm.
Because just like you said, you know, I mean, I think that's what we learned from COVID too, is that nobody's safe.
Nope.
And unfortunately, with I'm sorry if I sound nasally. My nose is clogged right now. But unfortunately, with this our healthcare system, you know, it's not affordable for anyone.
Yep.
Um, you
And whoever
have
says they fucking like their insurance, they fucking don't. They just fucking got the insurance that their fucking business gave them. Or sometimes it's just like bronze, silver, and gold. And it's like, what are your paycheck are you willing to give up for? And you still gotta fucking pay money. It's fucking broken.
yeah, it kind of feels like buying a car.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and you got GoFundMe's, and it's just like such a normal thing to see a GoFundMe for someone because they can't pay their medical bills, and you got random people helping out each other, so families that they don't know can pay for life that
Yeah.
happens, and it's just you know. So basically, those what ifs will always be there. Um, I definitely deal with intrusive thoughts. Like honestly, like just I will say every time I'm in a car, the thought always comes to me, what if we crash right now?
Is that because of recent life events and things like that? Or is that just because your fear of cars?
Um no, the fear that like I mean I've always I've always had that thought, but not every single time I go in a car.
Yeah.
I'll say more so the fact that I'm carrying a life inside of me.
Do you want to get a baby on board sticker? Would that make you feel better?
Does that even help though? Like
Nothing ever helps, but
yeah,
sometimes,
exactly. Like sometimes I see the baby on board cars driving fucking crazy.
yeah.
Like, you got a baby on board? Are you sure? Because you almost just crashed into 5 cars just to go over 2 lanes. Like, yeah. I mean, honestly, being in a car just reminds me of how nothing is, you know, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. And, you know, being a commuter, seeing some crazy stuff on the road. Um, I mean, I know you're from New York, and for me, like, a car is literally daily life, and it takes up, especially in California, like, a big portion of our life is in a car.
Yep.
And, you know, things that family have gone through and everything, like, it's, you know, sometimes I let it get to me, and sometimes that's part of the reason why I want to stay home.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why I don't want to go on walks outside, because what if a car hits me? Especially since we live right next to the freeway, and we also live right next to an exit off of a freeway. And how many times have we seen cars run those lights
Yep.
in in 1 month? How we can count?
Yeah.
Like it's, but that's the thing that I always have to remind myself, is that it doesn't matter. You can live in a suburb where everybody drives freaking 10 miles per hour. Um, and it can happen there. Like, So I can't spend my time on all those what ifs. I can't spend all my time on all those fears. Like what can what can I control? And there's a lot of things that are out of our control. And spending a lot of time on those things is can be a waste of time.
Yeah.
Definitely acknowledge them. Know that those fears are there, but don't spend your time there is what I always hear.
Yeah.
Um I try to spend my time on like, okay, but what can I control?
Mhm.
And I'll say, especially when this baby came in, like I wanted to go to therapy. I wanted to start building the tools so I can be the best parent that I can be. No, I'm not going to be perfect. It's going to be a continuous journey, even once the child is here. It's going to be hard.
Mhm.
Um, and yes, we've both, I would say, have dealt with our own personal journeys with our parents, with our families. Yes, there are things that we want to do differently, as every generation always says that, they don't want to raise their child the same way they were raised,
Mhm.
you know. Um, and there was beautiful ways that we were raised.
Mhm.
We learned a lot from our parents. There's things that I want to repeat.
Yeah.
Um, you know, um,
Yeah, I think that's that's something I should probably tell my mom a little more of. Like, yeah, there are, wow, childhood wasn't perfect by any means, but like, there was a lot of it that, I wouldn't be here
yeah.
without those things happening to me. And it almost like runs the fact of just like how much do you protect the child from the outside world? And I don't think is like you
How much
can't.
can you
Yeah,
protect?
that's the thing. I don't think you can protect your like at some point your child is going to go to the outside world and they're going to be called there by their friends and things like that. I think, and I don't know where I heard this. I forget where I heard this, but I think all you can do is truly make sure that your child is confident in themselves. That's it. That they're confident in themselves and they're confident in the value that they bring to this world, and that you don't make them feel like shit whenever they try to pursue something, or you know what I mean. Obviously, if they want to pursue jumping off a bridge without a bungee cord, don't do that. But like, you know, it's I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say both you and I definitely understand that
Don't
there are things in our
hold on real
lives.
quick. I want to make sure that you're not like bumping into it because these mic stands make a lot of noise.
I'll just go like that. How's
Yeah,
that?
yeah, that's cool. We'll let
Um,
it stable and then talk. Cool.
I would say
Wait, could you aim it more at your lips? I feel like from my angle, it feels like it's aimed right here.
no, that's right.
All right, cool. Sorry, this wasn't planned, people. Yeah.
What I was gonna say is both you and I definitely understand that our parents can't protect us from everything.
Mhm.
Parents can't protect their children from everything. There's things that are gonna happen in their lives that you're gonna be like, I thought I did everything I could,
Mhm.
and still my child had to go through things they should have had to go through.
Mhm.
And I will say that for my mom, she's told me this like, I tried looking up books. I tried looking up, and there's some topics that just weren't discussed, especially back then.
Yeah.
I'll say now there's more so a lot more information on like how to deal or how to handle when your children is a very sensitive child when your child is, struggling with their confidence, when your child or when you catch yourself not being the best parent, how can you redirect yourself?
Mm.
How can you speak to your children in a better way? How can you not be reactive? Like there's so many so much information out there. It's kind of overload at times, but um this is going to be a journey.
Yeah.
And those are other thoughts that keep me up at night sometimes.
Yeah.
That, like, am I going to be ready? Like, what is our child's life going to be? Even in this world, how's our child's education going to be like?
Yeah, that's a big topic. Like, I don't know. Like, I keep seeing more and more, all the celebrities are like taking their children out of school. All the people that can afford it, that have the means to do it, are homeschooling their children, and I kind of agree. Like, I feel like even when like we went to school, like just the system is, it doesn't make sense anymore. Like they're building little factory workers. It's all based on just memory retention, and you know, no real use of your brain and working with others that are skilled in other specific things. Like that is the real world today. The real world today is people collaborating on things and bringing their specialties together. We're not in a factory anymore. We're not in factory lines. We're not just, we're done with that. And I feel like the rest of the world is slowly trying to catch up, but there's no fire behind it. Like, I don't know. Like I'm very afraid to send our child to a public schooling system where, your child is stressed out and fucking, hating their lives because they're writing a paper that has nothing related to what they're going to be doing. And I'm talking about like the high school days and things like that. Like for me, it really falls apart at the high school area. You get me?
I
Like
mean, I remember spending a lot of time learning cursive in third grade, thinking that
that's
I had to write cursive as an adult, getting so anxious that I had to perfect my cursive, wrote cursive all the way to ninth grade. And then teachers being like, okay, I noticed a lot of you guys write cursive. It's not needed. And I was like, what? I was told I'm not going to get in college unless I know cursive.
that's what I mean, bro. Everything is so fucking outdated. And I'm hoping that by the time like our child is ready to go to school, that there are new things in place, whether that's online schooling or fucking AI schooling. Like I do not mind like, using AI to teach my child the basics. To accompany us. I'm not gonna like let my child sit
Yeah.
there and like plug them into a system, but like it's if it can be used to assist their learning and you know get them to that point, then why fucking not? Like there are so many other ways to have your child interact with other children. There's so many programs and you know fucking after school activities and things of that such where your child can get that sense of community. You get me? Um, what I will say though is like one of the things that I like to go against that is like oftentimes in the public schooling system and things like that, you can't control what other kids your kids are around. And like as much as I, want to protect our child, I also want our child to be exposed to things that like that are out of their control. You get me? Um and this is like no like slack on like there are a lot of kids out there raising kids and it leads to bad cycles and bad things, and that's why you got fucking badass kids doing hood rat shit with their hood rat friends. You get me? And it's just a symptom of that, and I want our child to know that like there are going to be people out there that don't have the same views as you, And a bit of me gets a little afraid as I like say these things out loud where it's like, yeah, I want our kid to be homeschooled. Yeah, I want them to be, they'll go to an after school program and like
Be with
really thing.
like-minded
But the thing is
kids.
like, is that sheltering them too much to the point where like they get a real job and, they run into someone, one of those fucking human beings that was a kid raised by kids who never really got to grow up. And, you know, what happens then? Does my child then become a little prima donna and just don't know how to deal with the situation? Like I want them to know how to deal with those situations. You know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, I hear you. Like, I've talked to you about Montessori schools, which, if you don't know what Montessori is, it comes from this Italian woman
I close
who,
the bathroom really quickly.
yeah, go ahead,
All right.
resume.
Yeah, Montessori.
um, so Montessori comes from this Italian woman, who took care of uh, uh neurodivergent children, children with autism,
Okay, I was about to ask.
ADHD, um, other special needs, and um, you know, children. It was back, I think, in the 1800s, late 1800s, like close to, so I think around then. I have to fact check myself, but she just allowed the kids to be kids.
Yeah,
She allowed them to, do more sensory type of learning.
yeah,
So, like playing with wooden blocks, playing with things that are natural materials, um, playing with using these items to learn and to learn about music, be outside, play with other kids, have a positive environment, no grades that were attached to these kids. And she just saw these children just excel, saw them, like, really develop critical thinking by, you know exposing them to just real life things, not forcing them to sit in a desk and to read a book,
yeah,
not forcing them to sit still and to listen to a lecture,
yeah,
you know? And these ideas, like, expanded to basically, like, all children, and just, you know, how can we teach kids to, you know, understand their own needs, understand how they could entertain themselves, how they can use the materials around them, um, like be an independent learner without having them being forced to sit down and listen to something that's not interesting to them.
yeah.
So a lot of these things, yeah, I want to incorporate for our child. Um, there's a brand called uh, Love Every, um, and you know, also who they have a toy subscription that gives you toys based off whatever life stage your child is in. It gives them toys that are sensory based and help, like, that are made of natural materials, and it's not a plastic toy that blinks lights at them, that sings a song, that distracts them. It's not like, you know um just it just helps them build actual real life skills.
I mean, it's not a fake iPhone.
Yeah, it's not
Not
a
a
fake iPhone.
fake.
I understand, like, we've had this
Yeah.
conversation about, like, how do we introduce technology
Mhm.
to our child. um I'm not against technology. I want to introduce technology when it makes sense,
Mhm.
and in more in a utility based, hi Sadie, way.
Mhm.
Like, it just, I don't know, it, me personally, okay, it irks me when I see a baby scrolling on YouTube, scrolling on TikTok.
I will say a lot of those things were, and we've now seen the videos and all those things. A lot of these things were user tested by kids, so it's only natural that they understand and know how to use these things.
Of course.
Because a lot of these ideas and concepts were driven by children at the time, like slide to unlock and things like that. So I will say, like, think I think I think I understand what you mean though, in regards to like, and I don't know, like sometimes it wows me, like it makes me feel like we're okay. You get me? Like when I see a kid how know how to navigate menus and get to where they need to go, because these things are complex. You take these things fucking 40 years into the past and it's alien technology. Like it's undiscernible. So I agree. It is a little like concerning, and it depends like the age level and like what exactly you're talking about. But a bit of how I feel is like that's just the next step of human evolution, and it's only gonna get crazier and shit. And I don't know. We may live in the time where like humans, where we get the ability to practice telepathy and things. You get me? Like.
Okay, so I get you,
Mhm,
and that's what I mean where I'm not totally against technology.
mhm,
Like, yes, I want our child to learn how to work a camera,
mhm.
how to, shoot, use eCam.
Yeah.
Like how technology can, like, you know, it's always improving. It's always like something that we can utilize to be an assistant to a human to, you know, make life more easy in certain aspects. My whole thing is I don't agree with how social media targets children.
Mhm.
I don't agree with how it's, you know, been, yeah, exact, like social media and all these platforms have specifically been created to be addicting.
Yeah. I agree.
They've been created to hold your attention
Yep.
and to move on to the next thing, like this, like this,
Yeah.
like this, like this. And it's, there's so many studies about how it negatively impacts our brain, our social skills, and our attention span.
Yeah. I think we
And
saw that in the Facebook documentary and like the whole Cambridge Analytica
yes,
scandal and things.
I am not against technology. I am for technology in humane ways.
Yeah. Ooh. Humane would love that sentence right there. Humane, what up, my G? Like, let's work.
But that's why a lot of people, like, they're saying do not introduce technology to infants.
Mhm.
There's no reason they need to be on technology besides one, what your mom's gonna say, which I totally agree with, is FaceTime. See, FaceTime, that's a beautiful use of technology to connect to another human being, a loved one that is hundreds of miles away and still be able to have a conversation or just an interaction.
Mhm.
That's a beautiful use of technology.
Yeah.
I am not against that. What I'm against is our child watching YouTube, going on Instagram, going on TikTok, and like we saw this the other day at, the doctor's office, this little girl, barely two, like basically, I don't even think she understands what she's saying, but she's talking like she's in a reality show.
Yeah. Fucking, I remember a little kid. We saw that one time, and he was like he was stuck on a loop. He was singing, "Oh no, oh no, oh no,
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 no."
no, no, no. You know,
Oh, that was fucking hilarious. But
and
I understand. I Can I ask you a question though?
yes.
Like, And again, like I agree with the consuming of it, the consuming of just the feed and just like the brainlessness that it just you navigate straight to it. Like I am I'm fucking under the spell as we speak. I can open my phone in the morning and next thing you know, like I'm scrolling at feeds and it's all fucking autopilot. My thumb has a little fucking brain of its own. Um, but there is another side to it where it's just like there are people who use it as an empowerment and as a way to build community, as a way
Yes.
to create.
Yes.
And that's something that I definitely wish I had more muscle. I mean, this is why we're doing what we're doing right now.
Yes.
Um, when our child is of age,
Mm-hmm.
are you okay with them using it as a means to, I don't know, document their life per se and build a community around that?
Yes.
Okay. But it's more of like the mindless feed, like just them scrolling and like, oh, they're doing this. Why am I not doing this? Well, they're doing that, and why am I not doing that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes. Like I would say, like even you know, uh, there's whole groups online with for moms, parents dealing with screen time.
yeah,
There's whole courses online to how to um, deal with your child obsessed with their phones,
yeah,
young children. And yes, it's the mindless scrolling part that is the problem. I think what I want to be able to teach our child, hence the Montessori things, is first teach our child to be okay to sit with what's around them, to to learn how to entertain themselves without a device.
use your imagination, little motherfucker.
No, for real. We've talked about this. We talked about when we were children before, iPhones, before app stores, apps and social media. What we talked about this. What did we
Oh,
do?
I used to like look. I used to like. I think this also happened from fucking Honey. I Shrunk the Kids, but I used to look at everything and imagine everything was like a spaceship or something, and like I could have fun with a fucking toe clippers. Like that'll be a cool looking spaceship. Like I'll find a way for it to like make sense
And
and
we
like
had
look cool in
small
my head.
homes.
Yeah.
I thought my home was a castle.
Oh, I mean, I grew up in New York City, lived in apartments all my life, so I was able
Yeah,
to
yours was even smaller
make what
than
I
what
had to
I
do
lived in.
with fucking 10 by 10 boxes.
Yeah, like I didn't realize how small my home was. And yes, no, I didn't live in an apartment. I lived in a 2-bedroom house with a small office. Um, 1 story. I don't know. If I were to guess the square footage, I don't know. Probably 900 square feet. You
That's
know?
pretty damn big.
Yeah. I would say it's considered like a small California 1-story home.
Yeah.
Um, cause and sorry, there was a dog. Sadie,
Leave it.
leave it. Um, I would pretend I was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I would like climb up walls and see if I can stick to the side of the walls, and like especially when like it's hot summers, and not hot summers where you're wet, but when you're a little clammy and you notice you can stick your hands stick to the walls. Maybe I was a little dirty too.
I
I
just
don't
got
know.
that. I just got that meme when you like catch something and you like look at your wrist and you're like,
I had McDonald toys. My mom was
I
she.
fucking hate McDonald's toys, bro. Locked in the same position. Nah, they were dope. They were dope.
Those were my
Let's get the
toys.
Furbies.
Yes.
When that came out, my grandpa worked at McDonald's, so we got all the Furbies.
Oh my
He was
god.
the general manager.
Well, my mom, we would get a lot of my toys from garage sales. Like people would have them in bags, and my mom would purchase a bag of toys for $2. and these would be my toys. And like I had dinosaurs, I had like all the McDonald like mascot characters, whatever. Um um oh, the Disney, like, or when when a new movie would come out and
Yeah.
they would have the toys featured at McDonald's. Um
I remember when they make it a collab with Pokemon and they had like Pokeballs. Holy shit, that was crazy.
my
Best
mom
collab
would
ever.
find collectible Pokemon at garage sales, like,
The Beanie Babies.
Oh, I had so many Beanie Babies.
Yeah, I know.
I still have the Beanie Babies. Um, but yeah, like I definitely knew how to entertain myself. It kind of wasn't a choice.
Yeah.
My parents worked. My brothers were already young adults. We have a big age gap. So kind of like an only child. Um, I entertained myself a lot. And I'm not saying that my dream is for our child to have no one to play with, have no interaction.
God
That's
damn.
not what I'm
This one
saying,
sad ass little
right?
motherfucker.
That's not what I'm saying at all. Um, like
Why your child so sad?
I have no one to play with. um, I just want our child to like be able to have these skills at a younger age, and so like these are all plans, right?
Huh?
That our show is called "This Wasn't Planned" because we know life happens.
Yeah.
Um, but at least that is my goal: is that to introduce like social media. Honestly, social media, I don't think I want our child on like taking videos of themselves and posting it until maybe they're middle school, maybe 10, once they hit a double digit.
Yeah. I think that's good.
But before then, they don't need to be taking videos of themselves,
Hmm.
putting it online. At least not with maybe like us running the account. But even then, like I don't think it's needed.
Yeah.
I really don't. I think our child should focus on being a child, because another aspect we talked about was that being that we had limited internet. Yes, we had it. Like there was internet was out when we were children.
Mhm.
Um,
It was a different place, though.
yeah,
It's a different place, much less to see, and everything was fucking weird.
yeah. It's like nowadays a child can open up their phone and uh see children getting bombed in another country. Or shoot, getting shot in our own country.
Yeah.
People can you're aware in an instant moment that your favorite celebrity passed away.
Hmm.
You're you're aware of just like so much information, and
You're
it's
hyper
all
aware.
negative,
It's
but
over thing. It's not. It's
you
not
just
all negative. I
but
would say.
that's the thing though, like
Your feed. I
your
think where
feed
you're
is so
headed.
many like
I think what you're talking about is how your feed becomes an echo chamber of your own thoughts. And I feel like when you're at a very young age, it may lead you to believe that the world is like this. Whereas, no, the algorithm is just keeping you glued to your screen. It
yes.
knows that you tend to stop and pause and look at that person getting punched in the face. You get me? And little by little, it just becomes this fucking echo chamber of you think this world is a fucking crazy place. And yes, it can always happen. Anything can happen. But I think it's just making sure that your child is old enough to understand that, like, you know?
They're safe,
Yeah.
that they can be who they want to be.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, because when we're little, all we do is what our parents would say, what our cousins would tell us, what kids at school what we would talk about. Like,
That's one thing that I'm like I've seen kids grow up around other kids.
yeah,
And oftentimes, like, kids can be influenced by the kids in their family.
yeah,
And I've seen situations where, like, it's, I don't know how you stop this, or how you not stop this, but how you go about navigating this. But like, there are situations where, like, you know, a child comes into this world, and, you know, the children that of the family are just like a little older and going through different stages of life.
Yeah.
And it exposes these younger children to those things at very early stages.
Yes.
Oftentimes you've talked about that with your brothers. Like, for me, it was with my uncles. Um, they were 3 and 5, 6 or 5 years older than me, and they were actually way older than that in terms of like all my other uncles. Um, but yeah, how do you make sure that, like, they understand their journey, and that, someone else is going through their own journey, and just because, I don't know, let's put it in the case of a girl, for instance. You get me, a little girl growing up, she sees, oh, they look up to the older ones,
I
and
mean, I'll
now,
say for me, my cousin, my
I'm
girl cousin, who's like about 3 years older than me.
yeah.
You know, we would play a lot, but then when she started hitting puberty, talking about boys,
Hmm.
talking about how like fine someone looks,
Hmm.
talking about how this she has a crush on a boy and the crush is talking back to her,
Hmm.
like, or I caught her sneaking out to go talk to a boy,
Hmm.
and just like seeing all these like her attention toward turning towards certain things, seeing her the way she dressed change,
Hmm.
and like for me, I was you know like not that much younger, but just it took me a while to understand why she wasn't a kid anymore
Yeah.
and why she couldn't hang out with me anymore.
Yeah.
Or why when I would walk in the room, all of a sudden she would stop talking, just shh.
Yeah.
Like no shame against her. Like I went through my stage when I started to mature
Hmm.
and get older and start get interested in dating and all that. Um, but yeah, I will say though, I think shame is a big thing. I think learning or teaching our child about how to deal with those feelings,
Hmm.
how to not project that onto others.
Yeah.
Um, because shame, I feel like for me, um, it's something I'm still learning to deal with.
Same.
How to not feel shame on a lot of aspects of who I am as a person, the experiences I've gone through, how I deal with things, how to, not judge others because it reminds me of what I'm shameful about of myself. How, it's shame comes back to a lot of things that holds us and gets us stuck. And I've seen, you know, some information out there where parents are trying to figure out how to, you know, talk about these things, these feelings that come up. Um, because a lot of things, like I would say when I was younger, it's just like, oh, don't paint your fingernails. That's what only older girls do for attention. Or, oh, you're not supposed to be wearing makeup. Why are you wearing makeup? Oh, why are you wearing your shirt like that? Like you can show your chest. I started growing boobs in third grade. I still don't understand what I was still confused on why that was bad, getting attention from the opposite sex. A boy wanted to hang out with me. I didn't understand in first grade why I had to be punished for a boy wanting to hang out with me and look at Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
I started to grow a lot of shame on like being a female and feeling like I had to hold myself a certain way or I was no longer a good girl. Um, or shame on when like I'm crying. Stop being a girl. Why are you crying like a girl? Or like just showing my emotion. Suck it up. It's not that big of a deal. Why are you crying? Or like I'm in pain. You're like, oh, it's fine. Just go clean it. Like you don't have to freak out. Like being ashamed of my emotions that I was feeling. Like, oh, I shouldn't be why and like, as I got older, get angry at myself for feeling the need to cry.
Yeah.
Literally trying to hold my throat closed so I'm not like choking up over something,
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to allow myself to just let me be me. Let it be.
Mm.
And so, I see there's this one, I can't remember the Instagram account that I follow, but she really um she's really like straight up honest. Talk She's still learning too, even she's not an expert or whatever, but just how to, when your child does something, don't react.
Yeah.
When your child like trips and falls, don't be like, "Oh no, are you okay? Are you
Yeah.
okay?" Or just, if your child starts crying, it's like, "Why are you crying?" There's just certain things that like are kind of ingrained because from how we were raised, how our parents were raised, how they
Mm-hmm.
were raised, how like it just goes down,
You want to cry? I'll give you something to cry about.
right?
Mm-mm.
Um, and
Let me deliver that line again. You want to cry? I'll give you something to cry about.
and I know these things will still come
Oh
out
shit! I feel like I got a Sadie here in my fucking.
always, always. And I know these things will still come out of our mouths.
Mm-hmm.
We'll still have that ingrained wanted to just react. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be a journey, but I want us to at least, because even this lady, she was just like, "You're still gonna have those moments,
Mm-hmm.
but a beautiful thing you could do is catch yourself, be like, ooh, apologize to your child.
Mm-hmm.
Does great things. See, your child's seen you take accountability for your reaction, taking accountability for something that you may have caused and correcting yourself and treating your child like a human and saying, I'm sorry. That, like, make mistakes, but also show your child how you can make mistakes and how you can try to correct them. That's a beautiful thing, too.
Yeah. Nah, I'm big in like talking to children like they're human beings. And I feel like that's how I've always been. They're just. I guess a bit of that comes from like growing up as an adult and like realizing that we're all children.
Yeah.
Um, at our core, just when you get older, you're children. You're a child with accountability. And maybe you're accountable of paying your bills, doing things, showing up on time, doing the things. Um, whereas children don't really have to live with that accountability just yet. Um, but yeah, I think that's important. I agree with you. Like, don't treat them like they are less than. And I
Yes.
think the one thing that's it's becoming so dope to see is like seeing parents that are doing it right now and seeing the products of these parents right now. You have these little children that are like so aware of themselves and they're aware of like, you know, to a point where like they even start making themselves accountable of things at earlier ages. You get me? And it's being held accountable because they want to. You get me? Like I want to write a book. So the little kid writes a book. Next, he's a little best-selling author. You get me? Um, just I don't know. I feel like there's a lot around that, and I grew up. You know, I don't want to get too much into it, but I grew up seeing kids get hit by the parents. I used to get hit by my mom, you know me, until she stopped and got creative. Um, um, but I see the effects of it. You get me? You create another person who is just as reactive and hurt like yourself. And it just becomes an endless cycle until someone chooses to stand up and do things differently. Um, so thank you, Mama.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I would say my mom definitely raised me with a lot of tough love.
Yeah,
Um, she's affectionate in certain ways.
yeah,
Um, how she shows love, she shows it with a lot of love,
yeah,
but also at the same time, she didn't want to coddle me.
mm-hmm.
Um, you know, if you need something, you need to do it. You have a problem, you need to figure it out.
Yeah,
Um, you need to order your food, go and order it yourself. Um, but if I was crying, you know, she'd leave me alone.
yeah,
Just, not really. um, my mom didn't really have anyone there for her to help her process her emotions. Um, I can tell it gets her anxious or uncomfortable, I should say. Uh, like she, someone's going through a hard time, she wants to give them tough love. Um, and I believe that yes, like, she definitely did as much as she was aware of, as much as she could. Um, you know, if I wanted to hold on to her, she was just like, okay, can you like back up a little? I follow her around in Ross. Can you like go to the toy section? Can you just like let me breathe for a second?
yeah,
You know? Um, but, at the same time, like, pick me up from school. Look what I got you. Or just like,
yeah.
even though she was like 2 hours late to pick me up, but like, um, or just want to watch a movie with me. She wants to hang out with me. Like, I think I never thought of that. I think that's why one of my love language is quality time,
Yeah,
because that's how my mom showed me love. We would hang out together. It wasn't physical touch, like, uh, it wasn't her like telling me things like with words of affirmation so much.
yeah.
Um, it was just us like going to the store together, going to the movies, watching a movie at home,
Found the city.
doing errands together, and just, you know, oh, like she'll know, like, oh, you had a rough day. Um, let's watch a movie.
Yeah,
Oh, she saw that I was crying a little bit. She wouldn't ask me like, oh, like what happened? Are you okay? Like, did you have a tough day or nothing like that? Like, you want spaghetti? She knew I love spaghetti. Make me spaghetti. Watch one of my favorite movies.
yeah.
We don't really talk about what happened in the day. We would just
Do you
be
wish you
there.
talked about what happened in the day?
Um, yeah. And I think as I got older, we were able to finally get to that point. I would say senior year of high school, a- and on, me and my mom could talk.
Yeah,
Middle school, it was rough.
yeah,
Early in high school, it was rough. Um, my mom would just see that I was so shy, see that I was so reactive, see that I was so hyper vigilant all the time. But to her, it's just like I was just fearful. I was just anxious all the time. I was just, and she just wanted me to be tough, wanted to be like, oh, it doesn't bother me. Oh, like I'm fine.
mm-hmm.
Um, and it was like we've talked about it too. She was just like, I just didn't want you to turn out like me.
Yeah.
I wanted you to not move through the world so fearful like I felt like I did when I was a child.
Yeah.
Um and um you know, um but that's why, like, we can talk about our child. I think it's like
Yeah,
we've heard.
I wanna like, can you? I wanna make sure like we're not bashing our parents. We're
Yeah,
not like this is not
we're
that.
not blaming
We're not.
at
This is
all.
not that. Like, um, we're expecting to be parents ourselves, and it's allowing us to look back on our childhood and how we were raised, um, and just have these conversations about how we potentially want to do things differently, and just sit down and think about those moments a little more. Like my mom would, you know, tell me on the phone the other day, like it was hard for her to raise me and understand whether I liked something or not because I was very quiet a lot, and
Yeah,
the only time she saw me smile was when she bought me something,
yeah,
and it became a mechanism of like, this is how you make Chris happy. And for me, like I remember like connecting those dots, and like there was a shift, like I feel like it was around like second or third grade, and that was around the time when I stopped getting hit. That like I just I understood like the game. You get me? I understood the school system. I just gotta remember this shit. I just gotta do the homework, and then I
yeah,
get what I want. You get
yeah.
me? Um. So yeah.
And I mean, like, yeah, like for me, going to the past helps me get some clarity, understanding, and also helps me humanize my parents.
Yeah.
Because I would say most of my life, I went through it like, woe is me. Like, oh, it's just how I am. Oh, this is just how life is.
Mhm.
This is just how it's going to be. I'm just a certain way. I'm never going to have true friends. I'm never going to be enough for anyone. I'm never going to go anywhere in my life. Like, just very, very, like, feeling like my life was set.
Yeah.
And I, like, like things happen to me instead of me doing things.
Yeah.
Like, like,
I can attest with that. Yeah.
yeah, like I would go through like a friend breakup, or I would, you know, something bad would happen and I'd be like, of course,
Yeah.
this is just what happens to me. That was my mindset. And like once I started my healing journey, started to go to the past and be like, oh, wait, you're not stuck like this.
Yeah.
You can be self aware, learn where your thoughts go, learn where these thoughts came from. Because another aspect of it was just like, oh, I'm just weird.
Yeah.
Like, there's no exact reason or cause on why I am the way I am. I just am. And that was a big reason why I felt like there was no point in a healing journey.
Yeah.
There's no point in putting in the work because no matter how hard I try, I'm just going to be me, who I thought me was.
Yeah.
Um, and when I started going to the back to my past, I'm just like, oh, you had something very traumatizing happen to you over and over and over. That affected me.
Yeah.
And yes, that made me a victim as a young child because I didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go through that.
Yeah.
But me as an adult, I'm going to take accountability and I'm going to hold the reins and no longer make myself into a victim. And I'm going to improve myself, or what's the words, but I'm going to be an adult and just choose my actions, choose how I go about my life.
Yeah.
You know, like people say, like, it's never your fault what happened to you, but it is your responsibility to heal from it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of fucked because it's like, well, I didn't have to go through that. Why do I have to do all this fucking work if that didn't have to happen to me? But at the same time, it's just like, shit is always going to happen to you.
Yeah.
Life is always going to happen to you. It's up to you what you're going to do with it. Because, yes, things are out of our control. But if anything, you're letting that person, that event, that thing win by letting it control your whole life or dictate where it goes, you know? And like with my parents, like they did the best they could with what they knew. They loved me. They like you know, I have so many good memories of my parents. I mean, they're still with me. And they too have their scars. They too like were raised a certain way. And for me, like, especially even knowing their stories, it's like, damn, mom, dad, like, you could have been a shitty person. Both of them could have been assholes.
Yeah.
But no, they both have done the work in the ways that they could.
Yeah.
And tried to be the best parents they could with me. And yes, they were the best parents they could to be with me. You know, be for me. So no, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
You know, if anything, I'm just aware of like what affected me, aware of like, you know, aware of how things made me feel. So now with that awareness, how can I ensure my child also, like, it's just learning, it's just all learning blocks, you know? So like, yeah, the first step is awareness. Now what are you going to do with that awareness, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I gotta give it up to my parents. Like, even to this day, they're still trying to grow as human beings.
Yeah.
You know, it might be like little itty bitty steps, but I see them.
Yeah. No, I gotta give a shout out to my mama. She's making strides. She's been setting examples, and she was able to break some major cycles with our family.
Oh yeah.
So, I definitely would like to get deeper into that
Yeah.
on like another episode. But
I guess this episode was a parent or a parenting episode, I would say.
I mean, I feel like all the episodes as we start, because we're going through this right now, are probably going to be closely related to this.
Yeah, because that's what's on our brain right now, that we're about to be parents.
Yeah.
So all these things are just flooding the brain right now.
Yeah.
And yeah.
This was not planned.
This was not planned. We had no idea what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Chris was just like, so you want to film?
Mm.
Sure.
And Sadie's just here chilling.
Oh my goodness, girl.
Fuck
Come
you.
here. Girl.
Mama, what is wrong?
Does anybody else's dog
You're
Like,
looking at a camera, but nothing.
does anybody else's dog this reactive?
For real, bro.
Like, we're all talking about being better parents, but shit, I guess, did we fuck up as being dog parents?
Nah, we just fucked up by having her first experience out in the real world be downtown San Diego.
You think that was the one traumatizing event that made her so nervous of everything?
We can get into that.
Oh my gosh. Do a next episode 2 be like dog parenting?
Raising fur babies.
Raising fur babies. Yeah.
All right, peoples. We good?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the. I hate this angle. You gotta see all of me.
Oh goodness.
I'd rather see me. Cool. This is what I think I look like from the neck up. See you in the next one, people. Bye.